now I'm at a beautiful lake behind me, and while there is no wind and there's a great reflection going on, there are no colors in the sky, and I think I might screw it up again by not scouting properly whether or not there would be colors in the sky. There are two lakes. I am at the first I saw, and I got lucky because I'm very close to the shore of this lake, and I tried to take a picture anyway. There's a huge tree behind me, and like a smart director once said, show, don't tell. I'm about to show you. On the right half of the image is an ugly tree which doesn't really add anything. So I am not really happy with this because you can't really distinguish the foreground, which is here, from the background, which is here. So if we talk about this part of the picture, you don't really know if the tree that's behind my finger is in the foreground or the background, and this is something I try to avoid, this sense of clutteredness. So I think if I change my perspective a bit, my composition will improve greatly. The thing I'm currently doing is I turn my polarizer in order to enhance the reflection or remove it, and I'm not sure what I like more. I start a video to show it better. I can cut directly through the reflection and create some sort of a vignette so that the trees that are partially underwater appear to be completely visible. Or I can go to the other extreme and enhance the reflection so that a good third of the white part of the tree is being missing. And I really struggle with deciding whether or not I should choose a polarizer. So I try to get every extreme and decide in post which one would be the better shot. In order to do that, I just have to fiddle with my camera a lot, and maybe after I'm ready, I can check out the other lake and figure out whether or not I return here for different conditions. Oop. The most annoying part will be organizing the files in the computer. Usually the thing I try to do is always stack in the same direction, which means foreground, middle ground, background, and I use my hand to cover everything that shouldn't be in focus and then take the three pictures. Then one of the three pictures should be sharp, and then I can shift focus again. This leaf is very colorful, so if I place it here, I'm such a tool. This will be our little secret. The biggest mistake I made in the last session was that I never changed my lens. Maybe 20 millimeters was too wide, and maybe 28, 35, somewhere in between this range would be another interesting shot. It's always a mistake to not try it. The conditions were very, very easy to shoot. I didn't need to. There was no wind, there was no rain. My equipment wasn't in any danger. I had all the time in the world. The conditions weren't changing quickly, so actually it is kind of stupid that I didn't at least try it. I'm very happy with the composition. I found it rather quickly, and the other mistake I made is that I haven't really moved my tripod after I set it up. Because, you know, you can move your tripod after you set it up. And the entire point of the tripod is slowing down the workflow so that you can change everything that you want isolated from other factors. So I can change the shutter speed without changing the composition. I can change the y-axis without changing the x-axis. And I can also remove my camera from the tripod and just figure stuff out, which would be way faster than adjusting the height and whatnot. So yay to composition, nay to equipment usage. Who knows? I am happy with the experience, and I really struggle with using this DJI cam. Maybe there's a trick to it, but I'm so happy that I could at least try it, and so I didn't have to buy an expensive piece of equipment. This is a 28mm lens, and those 8mm are doing a lot of work right now. And it's a 28-75 lens, so this is 35mm, this is 50mm, and this is 75mm. So you see that the closer you get, the more interesting the background appears to be. And I tried to take a quick shot just to prove a point that sometimes in landscape photography 75mm is not enough, because you're not getting close enough to your subjects, because I can't walk any more closer to the shoreline because of this water. 300mm lens. They're currently at 70mm, and now I go closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, and now you can see at 200mm you can actually make out what's going on over there. And I will move my camera a little bit more to the right in order to look around this bush. Which didn't really work, but now I have two subjects, this berg and this almost dead tree without no bark. And now I can tell a story, now I can take an intimate picture of the landscape, and it's only possible because I changed the focal length to 300mm. The next trick is, because I'm talking about trees that are vertically, not horizontally growing, I align my camera horizontally, and now I can include the tree, the reflection, everything I want in order to take a nice picture. Here we go. I think that during sunrise, those trees being hit by the sun, this would be a very, very nice shot. And if we talk about autumn, knowing where dead spots in the tree lines are is a godsend in order to find a nice and cool composition. I just wanted to prove a point. I adjust my composition and the exposure and make sure that my tripod is steady. And in order to get a sharp picture, I reduce my center column a little bit. I went all the way to 300 millimeters, and I really tried to enhance the slight difference in the colors I see. The colors would be way more vibrant if the sun wouldn't be hiding behind clouds, but I'm basically here to figure out what kind of pictures I can take the next time. And I think when it's really, really, really cold in the night and really, really hot during the summer, it's possible that there will be smoke or even fog on the lake. That would be kind of awesome. And in autumn, all those different trees over there age in a different speed, so just standing here and looking for a composition would be quite fun. So I try to make sure that everything is aligned correctly. I changed the exposure to f11 because to f8 because this lens tends to be sharper at f8. I'm at 1/100th of a second exposure time, which is pretty slow, but it's fast enough to prevent the system from introducing camera shake to the image. I deliberately choose ISO 400 because this faster shutter speed gives me a sharper image compared to a slower shutter speed at ISO 100. I think I like the composition. And after I took the 25th picture of this composition, I just call it a day.